My brother was 25 miles away from home when he got older, and I was 2,500 miles away.
Everybody wait for Marcia.
Say hi, Marcia.
Or Susie.
Yeah. Hi, Marcia. Hi, Mom.
It's still New York City. You know,
Off the farm at age 17, and he never returned, never saw his parents again.
Oh my God.
Never saw his siblings who had remained in Westphalia.
And then later, after it was closed and reopened again, it began it was the beginning of the University of Southern Indiana, which was a satellite school of Indiana State, which is in Terre Haute, Indiana. And the first president worked hard to separate USI from Indiana State, and it grew quite a bit. It's now around 11,000 students. So
all of Ralph Theodore's children, Teddy, Martha, Dick, Susie, Hank Kleymeyer, who was Henry's son, several of the Schwenkers went to Bosse.
There's a football field there. Enlow Field.
This is Enlow Field on the left, which is part of Bosse High School.
Standard brick.
Made with standard brick, so the Kleymeyer Brick Company produced the brick that to talk about Camp Carson, which is a YMCA camp. That camp is just about, I think, 20 miles from New Harmony, where we stayed last night and tonight. It's in just outside of Princeton, Indiana. And in 1941, when they were building the camp, Henry Charles Kleymeyer, son of Heinrich Wilhelm, and grandfather and great-grandfather to at least probably 20 people on this bus. He gave the money to build cabin number 1 at Camp Carson. There were about 12 cabins. A few years ago, these cabins were 60 years old or more, and they decided to replace them all. But several of us collected some funds, and
yeah, nice move. Drive much?
And we convinced the Camp Carson director. It didn't take much, but he decided that they would maintain cabin number 1 as a museum cabin.
Wow.
To show people what the old cabins used to look like. And then there are a lot of parents and grandparents who send their children and grandchildren to Camp Carson. It becomes sort of a family tradition to go there. And this way they can get that nostalgic feeling when they walk into cabin number 1. Dick Kleymeyer, son of Ralph Theodore, who's the son of Heinrich Wilhelm. Dick Kleymeyer, father of Amy, Carrie, Cindy, Alan, and Lily. Not necessarily in that order. He was a counselor at Camp Carson and was counselor in cabin number 1.
I'll be darned. Wow.
Cliff was a camper, and Bob and I were also campers there. And then in after my senior year in high school, I got a job as a counselor, and I asked if I could be a counselor in cabin number 1. So we have a long history of Kleymeyers in that cabin. If anyone feels so moved, they always need funds for painting. They had to re-roof it recently. So if anyone feels so moved, talk to me, and we can maybe at this event gather some more funds together to fix up that cabin. And it's interesting to me that Henry Charles shows that's probably the one structure that is not a private home, but the one public structure that he gave gave funding for.
We'll catch it.
Granddad Kleymeyer stood on the bridge over to our left, the original bridge, when he was 60 years old. That was his wish, because you had to take ferries going across the river all the time to get back and forth from Henderson to Evansville. So he was also on the bridge in 1940 when it became a free bridge. It was a toll bridge for the first 8 years of its existence. A radio announcer in Mexico City too. I went down to his station when I went down to visit Lily and Alan when Alan was pretty small. He's known as Alancito.
Yeah.
There anymore, right?
Call it
Probably just
Kleymeyer.
Alfred, right?
Move that.
Lives in the same house.
They say it could be like a coyote with mange.
I've read that, but this was different.
It looked
It was different.
it looked like a hairless whatever, kind of like a.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Okay, great.
It's Kleymeyer on this side too.
Oh, it is?
These are the headstones of the from Germany.
Yeah. And then this is Aunt Minnie. She married William Dempewool.
So he was born in 1841, so he was
That's
17
interesting.
when he moved over here in 1858.
Brent, I don't know if this is related to your
The Hopkins. Well, that's.
Oh, nice one. And that's with the Kleymeyer?
They didn't want to take the dirt for custom, so they baked it into this part. Oh man! So why don't we?
Wait a minute, don't move.
Here, we should come around.
Wilhelm Kleymeyer's gravesite and his wife Louisa. And the Kleymeyers have brought stones from Kleyhof. So 160 years later, material will come from Kleyhof and we'll set them here for a second. Where, Svetlana, Jenny, why don't you put what you've made and Gianluca?
Should I just put it in?
Yeah,
And Jenny, say a word about why it's baked into concrete,
maybe just put it down
or Frank.
on the grass.
Because it was, because in Germany everybody tells you to not bring like soil or anything like what comes from the earth or plants or something.
Yeah.
So everybody's just like, no, don't bring it. It will make you a lot of trouble. So we thought about it, and we were really worried that we might not be able to bring it to the US. So we got the idea that we just bake it into some kind of heart that we can bring it, but without anybody noticing it. Yeah, and we also got this little stone.
Can we have all the Kleymeyers around the gravesite?
Right.
Except for you guys, you got the Hispanic.
People who live on the Kleyhof, the ones that have like own it right now, it's Lori and her husband Hans Walter, and sadly I don't know the name of their son. But
Walter. Just Walter.
yeah? Ah, okay.
And they are Kleymeyers? They are descendants?
Yeah, from Christoph Heine.
Yeah, we got him.
Our grandmother.
All right.
One more, I think. One more, guys.
Over to the Gebauer house and play games and drink punch and do all that kind of stuff. So after one of those events, we were, Cliff, Bob, and I, and my mother and father were getting in the Buick to drive home to Evansville, and I was the last one on the sidewalk, and the car took off, leaving me there. And this is one of the great traumas of my young life. I'm still in therapy over that, and not so much that the car left me, but that I knew Bob and Cliff were in the back seat, with their fingers over their lips saying, "Be quiet, don't say anything." A little bit of a windshield tour of some of the old family homes. Henry Charles Kleymeyer's home was coming up, and then we'll go by Ralph, Theodore, and Mildred's home, and Kleymeyer boys. They kept a pony. This is Henry Charles Kleymeyer, son of. Where your granddad grew up. Yeah. So yeah, people who grew up here were. So Henry, and as I said before, there's at least a dozen Kleymeyers went to high school here. And Bob reminded me of the story when Dick Kleymeyer was a basketball star here, and we went to a game once when we were little kids that Dick was playing. Dick, also known as Bud, also known as Richard Allen Sr., and there was this guy behind us, and every time Dick scored, the guy would yell out, "Kleymeyer, Kleymeyer, he's my man." So for years, Cliff, Bob, and I would, "Kleymeyer, Kleymeyer."
And this is Standard Brick.
Standard Brick.
This is like out of a Hollywood movie set.
It's all just in front.
Boise High School was the alma mater of a designer that
Sites Kleymeyer had their home, and where Teddy, Martha, Dick, and Susie grew up. Right down the block from where Bob, Cliff, and I grew up.
Chuck?
Yeah.
Did it look like this when you were growing up?
Yes.
Yeah? Nothing's changed. Yeah. Old home.
Warner, Albert. The Ralph and Mildred Kleymeyer home. Egg. 812 Albert Boulevard. And Brent was telling me earlier that all the luggage in his garage that has combination locks, the combinations are all 812. A number the family can remember.
just one thing to point out about the house that he had. It was built with an open door feature because Ted didn't believe in locking the house whenever they went on trips. So we always had to come down and make sure the house was locked when they were away for weeks on end. We get down there? That's a pretty home. On Chandler? Oh, you're going to go around? Okay, great.
German road name. We called it Bakey, but it would be probably Burka. So when we moved in here, most of this was open fields. So here comes the Clifford and Ruth Kleymeyer house.
Was our baseball field was the middle of the house there. That was owned by us.
Right here,
And then the tree here
2300.
has been replaced, which is the twin of the one on the right.
And the brick laying too is you don't see that anymore. These are real master masons who made these houses. How German American Evansville was. I'm going to name some of the names, and I'll try to give them the German pronunciation. So, Sonnemacher, Hottenstein, Kleymeyer, Truckmann, Schäfer, what was it? Löwenthal. On your left.
Right here? Oh, here it may be more crowded.
The rose bushes are gone, Lily.
He rose, but you grew up?
No, I grew up coming here to visit. And the doghouse was back there, and the rose bushes all the way around. That gate wasn't up there.
That's funny.
Right there.
Oh, right there. Okay.
Yep.
That's it. We're on the way.
On her own.
Oh, okay.
Left is a restaurant slash watering hole called Taroni's, or Forget Me Not Inn. It's still up there. The Forget Me Not Inn was known by the younger generation as the flower shop. So if your parents wanted to know where you were going, you said, well, I'm just going to the flower shop. And it's been there for many, many years. So I would assume that Susie, Martha, Dick, and Teddy had an opportunity to visit the flower shop.
No, it's not true. No, it's not true.
Third oldest continually used baseball diamond in the country. Well, what are the first two? What's the oldest baseball diamond in the nation?
Wrigley Field?
Fenway Park. Peter gets 2 desserts.
1912.
And in second place, chewing gum, the answer is Wrigley Field. Kleymeyer brick. Third oldest baseball diamond in the country. Built around, we think, 1910. And the field is dug down deep. So you're up in the nosebleed seats right now to that level.
Where are the other scrapes?
This is the field.
Avenue Brick Company had a plant here, and when they ran out of materials, clay, shale, they sold the land to the city for a pittance, and for a while it was used as landfill, and then finally they turned it into a park and built a sign here.
And we will be collecting royalties if those go on the internet.
We'll ride them tomorrow, right? We'll get some more bike riding tomorrow. So we're going to go grab a beer at Brent's. He said he had some to share before the